Thank you so much for being here. Mental health is undeniably one of the critical challenges that we are up against as a state, obviously as a country, and I really appreciate the focus specifically on farmers because I think it's a group that is often forgot about. My question / concern that I want to pose to you all, and that I would pose this to everybody, this is not specific just to farmers, just to be clear, is I want to know, you all outlined some of the slide for the develop community-based support systems, right? We had the preventions, the interventions, right? Those types of categories. And everything that I saw listed underneath the prevention to me seems more like a response or a reaction to the fact that we know that mental health is a crisis. What I think is important is for us to ask ourselves the question, are we identifying what the root causes are that are leading our farmers to have mental health crises that are leading to sometimes suicide?
Sure, I'll take that. All right. Stressors, too many unknowns. The weather, the markets, just conditions. It's just there's the profitability, input costs. It's all the above. It's
a follow-up question, please. Mm-hmm. Putting you on the spot here, but what is it that this body can do to better support our farmers specifically around this? Because what I'm hearing, understandably, with the unknown, a lot of this is weather related. We know we have climate change. We know we have a lot of issues that we're up against. And so what I'm wondering is what can you charge this body with that we can do to better support our farmers to alleviate this kind of unbearable pressure that they're under?
One of the biggest things that we're focusing on is to reduce the stigma of talking about the stressors and just making them feel appreciated, let them get it off their chest and talk about it. And a lot of times if they can just, like the challenge coin, it's designed to, if they commit when they shake Dale's hand, that if they ever get in a dark spot, they commit to calling and talking to him, right? So a lot of times if people just talk about get it off their chest, and it'll go a long way in helping them.
I'd like to add back onto the Jefferson County here. Just talking, having somebody, just knowing that there's somebody you can share this with and not going to laugh about it stuff. We're seeing people start having communications. When you're shaking hands, and they ain't just shaking hands, it's talking to somebody that know you appreciate them. And you sit there and you get started talking. And over the past few years, we have got people, we call, we talk, we share the good days and bad days. But back specific to Jefferson County, I'm going to brag on something here for you. Seneca FFA is one of the most diversified FFAs in the state of Kentucky. I had a challenge team of kids up there last year, 34 students that went around Jefferson County. Jefferson County Farm Bureau funded the bill, bought the coins, and put the scholarship money up. 34 students in Seneca FFA circled Jefferson County shaking hands in a challenge coin contest for scholarships. Two winners read their papers out here yesterday from Seneca FFA, downtown Louisville, had my biggest group of kids. It was so successful at Jefferson County Farm Bureau and Seneca FFA are getting ready to start it again this year. And for every student that participates in this, I sit with them. We sit one-on-one. And we sit here and talk to them. And every student that goes out gets their hands shut before they talk to. They learn how to make their own speech. But the ultimate goal is you walk up to somebody and tell them you appreciate them. Talk about positive things and meet them. That's what we're trying to do one-on-one. It may not be the best or the most, but we're seeing a lot of success out of that. And the young people was reading them out here yesterday. We keep the scholarship papers simple. Minimum 1 page, maximum 2 to put them all on the same playing field. But y'all listen to these students. When you come back, they've been times you'll cry with them, but when they come back and sit down and talk to you and tell you what they seen, what they done, and what they heard on that part, it's unreal. And then the shaking hands across Kentucky. I've done 1,484 handshakes. That's today. I added it up this morning. Dr. Witt sitting back here behind me has witnessed over 1,200 of them. She stands back and watches how the people does, and she can tell you her results directly. But you sit there shaking a man or a woman's hand talking to them. And me and Mr. Reed's talked. Me and Senator Webb over here's talked on that part. When you stand there talking to them and they realize that you care and they hold your hand, you do not know where the stories go. I had one farmer one night to sit there. I shook his hand, went to see him. I knew he was having trouble trying to refinance. He was a good operator, but he was a big operator. Shook his hand. He stood there and told me, so if I was going to kill myself, I'd drive a truck off over the hill and you'd never know it. We spent 3 hours over the truck hood that night talking. Okay? Good, bad, money, and everything. A year and a half after I shook his hand, I've shook his hand 3 times now. He called me one day and he was lost. And I could tell something wrong. He says, Mr. Dobson, and I asked him what's wrong. And I ain't going to call nobody out by names here. He said, I lost my coin. I carried it every day, and I lost it about a week ago, and it's really bothering me. Okay, so I went and seen him give another one. Had another farmer, shook his hand. I know this man for 25 years. And the demons and the stuff you deal with, it's just talking to somebody one-on-one. And these young people do the same thing. Dr. Witt was with me, and I went to shake his farmer's hand. He put me off that day. He said, I can't do it today. I thought, man, that was odd. So we met him the next night. He said 40 years ago, my wife, he held my hand while he did it. He said 40 years ago, my wife stood in the kitchen and shot herself in front of my oldest son. We don't know what people are carrying, but when you give them the chance, when we're talking about QPR and we're shaking hands and we're meeting these people, we are opening the door for them to have a chance to let something out. They don't have to come to us. We go visit them. And it's unreal where the stories go. And these young people are going out and doing this stuff. We're training them. And I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about high school FFA students, okay, young adults. They're taking QPR classes. They're taking classes. They're learning how to talk. And then at the same time, when we're out here doing it, these young students have issues too. And it gives them an opportunity to share and help them out. So I feel we're accomplishing a lot. And you've seen it out front yesterday.
One last comment, Representative Stalker. You asked what this committee can do. All the trainings that we've developed, the CRUSH, the QPR and all that, we've only scratched the surface in propagating those. There's just so many more people we can get to and impact by continuing to fund those efforts. So,
To add this, I make about 20% of the requests I get, and these weeks they let me run 7 days a week. What can you do to help us? Help us have some more manpower out here going with us.